William gave Camilla a choice: leave gracefully on your own terms, with whatever dignity the institution could still afford her, or face the truth, publicly, formally, in the documented, impossible to contain way that William had spent years preparing for. It was not a negotiation. It was not a conversation, with room for counter-offer, or managed compromise, or the kind of palace solution that makes everyone uncomfortable, but preserves the performance of unity. It was an ultimatum, and Camilla has been sitting with it ever since. The palace has been holding its breath. Those close to the situation have been watching, waiting, reading the signals, in every public appearance, every private communication, every institutional decision that might reveal which way she was going. And now sources say Camilla has made her decision. This is what she decided. To understand Camilla's decision, you have to understand what the choice actually meant. Not in the abstract, not in the dramatic, a clean language of an ultimatum, as it sounds when you state it simply, but in the specific, personal, deeply human reality of a woman who has spent her entire adult life building toward a position and is being asked to walk away from it. Camilla is in her late 70s. She has been fighting for acceptance, for the right to exist at the center of this institution and this family, since she was a young woman. The affair, the hatred, the rehabilitation, the years of careful image management, the public smiles over private wounds, the patient, grinding, extraordinarily sustained process of becoming acceptable, all of it leading to the crown, to the title, to the formal, official, institutionally recognized position as Queen of England. She got there, against every reasonable expectation, against the wishes of the public, who never fully accepted her, against the judgment of history, which has not been kind. She got there. And now a 39-year-old man, the son of the woman she replaced, is telling her that she can leave, with some dignity intact, or face what he has assembled: the letters, the testimony, the insider, the sealed journals, the confession. Charles made the specific, documented, sourced account of events that the official history of her rise does not contain. That is what the choice means. Sources describe the period following William's ultimatum as one of the most tense inside the palace in living memory. Not publicly tense, not the kind of visible, photographable, headline-generating tension that the palace's communications team would be scrambling to manage. Privately tense, in the specific, particular way that the royal family does everything that actually matters, behind closed doors, in the spaces the cameras cannot reach, in the conversations that move through trusted channels, rather than official ones. Camilla consulted those close to her, her children, Tom and Laura, her most trusted advisors. The small circle of people who have been with her through everything were brought into the decision. Sources say the conversations were long, were difficult, were not the kind of conversations that reached easy conclusions. Because there was no easy conclusion available, both options, leave or face the truth, carried consequences that were, in different ways, enormous. Leaving meant surrendering everything she had spent her life building. Facing the truth meant, potentially, something far worse: the specific, personal, documented account of what she did and what she knew, and what was happening in those palace rooms during the years of Diana's marriage, becoming part of the public record, in William's hands, on William's terms, at the moment William chose. Sources describe Camilla making a counter-approach, not a formal negotiation. William had made clear that was not available, but through the kind of intermediary communication that the palace uses when direct conversation carries too much risk. She asked for conditions. Specifically, she asked for assurances about Charles, about the impact of whatever became public on his reputation and his reign, and the historical record of a king who was still alive and still wearing the crown. She asked for assurances about her children, about Tom and Laura, who had nothing to do with the events of their mother's marriage to Charles, but whose lives would be shaped by whatever became part of the public narrative. And she asked for something that those close to the situation describe as the most revealing request of all: time. She asked for more time, before any formal decision was announced, before any institutional changes were made, before any public signal was sent, Time to prepare, time to adjust, time to find a way to make for whatever came next look less like defeat and more like choice. William's response to Camilla's conditions, as sources close to the situation describe it, was characteristic. Measured, certain, leaving very little room for misunderstanding. On Charles he would not guarantee anything about what became public, but he acknowledged the complexity of his father's position and indicated minus in the careful, non-committal way of someone who has not promised anything he does not intend to deliver, that Charles' position would be considered, not protected, considered. On the children he was clearer. Tom and Laura had no formal role in the events being discussed. Their lives would not be targeted. What became public would be about the institution and the people who held institutional power, not their children. Time, he gave her a specific, bounded, non-negotiable amount. Not indefinite, not the open-ended breathing room that would allow the situation to be managed into something unrecognizable, a specific window during which Camilla could consider, prepare, and make the choice that William had offered, after which the window would close. The decision, when it came, was not dramatic. It did not arrive through a statement or a press conference or the kind of visible, public-facing moment that the story might seem to require. It came through the same channels that everything inside this world moves through when the stakes are genuinely high, quietly, through trusted intermediaries, in the language of institutional communication that carries maximum weight and minimum visibility. Sources close to the situation describe Camilla's decision as this: she chose not to leave. Not yet. Not in the formal, announced, managed exit way that William's ultimatum described. She is staying, not because she believes she can win, not because she has found a countermove that changes the balance of power, but because leaving surrendering the position she spent her life reaching is the one thing she finds herself unable to do, even now, even with everything William holds, even with the sealed journals, and the insider and the confession, and the ultimatum and the reckoning that has been building for months. She cannot walk away. Camilla's decision to stay is not a victory. Those close to William make that clear. The ultimatum has not been resolved. The truth has not been managed away. The window has not been extended indefinitely. What has happened is a delay with consequences. Because Camilla's refusal to leave, her choice to face what comes next, from inside the institution, rather than outside it, means that William's next move will be made against a queen, not a former queen, not an ex-consort, who has retreated to private life, and whose relevance is increasingly historical. The current queen still present, still formally occupying the position, and the question now is not whether William will act. He will. The question is how. Sources describe him as having anticipated this answer, having prepared for it, having in the patient, deliberate, always 10 steps ahead way that defines everything he does, already decided what comes next. Camilla chose to face the truth. William is preparing to deliver it. There is something human about Camilla's decision that I think deserves to be acknowledged, even in a story that has not often found room for her humanity. She cannot leave, not because she is calculating, or strategic or still playing the long game she has always played, but because the thing she built, the title, the position, the formal acknowledgement that she belongs at the center of this family, is everything. Not a prize she won, not a game she played. Everything. She gave her whole adult life to it. She endured things, the hatred, the comparisons, the public cruelty, that most people would not have survived, and walking away from it, on someone else's terms, before she is ready, before she has found a way to make it look like choice, is the one thing she cannot do, even now. But here is what Camilla needs to understand. Diana could not leave either. Diana was also told in 1,000 different institutional ways that her position was becoming untenable, that her presence was a problem, that the institution would be better served without her in it. Diana refused to go quietly too, and the institution, with its machine and its management, and its extraordinary capacity for making people disappear, found a way to remove her anyway. Camilla is now on the other side of that machine, and the man running it is Diana's son. Drop a comment Do you think Camilla made the right call? Or should she have taken the exit while she had the chance? New video tomorrow. The same time. See you then.